Hey, it's Dave. This is Justin.
Today we're going to talk about Kony 2012. In specifics, stop Kony 2012.
Yeah, stop him. We don't want to keep him going. We want to
Stop him.
stop him. That's important.
So what's the deal with this, Dave?
Well, here's the thing. This thing has gone absolutely viral. I mean, if you're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, the whole deal, Google+. Does anyone really using Google+?
Not yet.
I don't know. Anyways, it's all over social media. We just checked today, 75 million views. And that's just on YouTube.
That's a lot.
Who knows how many other times it's been shared?
That's a lot.
And so it's just gone crazy. Not only is it on social media, it's all over the news stations. CNN has picked it up. Even our boys over at Comedy Central are having a blast with this one.
Yeah.
But so it's all over the place. 75 million views. But here's what it is. It's an organization called Invisible Children. Invisible Children has been around for a few years, but their whole goal is to, in this case, bring recognition, and what they state is to make Joseph Kony famous. Now, that's kind of weird. Joseph Kony is one who is, he's in Uganda and is terrorizing, or has been terrorizing Uganda, and has been taking kids, boys, and has been making them soldiers, giving them machine guns and saying, hey, what do you know? Why don't you go kill somebody? And has been training these kids to do that. He's also been enslaving women into the sex slave industry and doing all that as well. And it's just, it's a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing. Do you think it's a bad thing?
I think it's bad.
I think it's bad. But here's the thing. Like I said, they want to make him famous, and they want to bring attention to him, which obviously 75 million views in social media.
I think they've done their job.
I think they've done their job. But here's the question. What do we do about it? Like, what's our take? If I'm a Christian, what should be my take on this?
I think sometimes we have to be supportive of situations like this. I mean, when we look at an organization like Invisible Children taking a stand on trying to bring light to where there was previously darkness.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really had a whole lot going on in their head about Ugandan children that have machine guns and machetes and that type of stuff.
Did you know about it?
I gotta be honest, I didn't know about it before this week.
I've heard about it, but didn't think much about it.
They were invisible to me.
They literally were invisible children.
Thank goodness for Invisible Children for bringing at least light to a situation that was dark in my life.
Yeah.
But then you got to start asking yourself, what am I really supporting? I think look at what Invisible Children does. They're looking at a social injustice issue, wouldn't you say? I mean,
definitely social injustice.
We're looking at kid slavery, sex slavery, and some things like that, violence. And I think you have to do due diligence. I said do. You have to really ask yourself, where does money go? So if you're going to pay $20 for your Stop Kony wristband and your
some
shirt,
posters
and some sweet posters to put up,
which are good,
just in case Joe Kony walks around Harlan and I find him. So
that'd be kind of weird. Actually,
you're the guy from the poster.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that.
I don't think he's going to be in Harlan. He may probably not hiding out in Harlan.
Well, then why the posters?
I haven't figured out the posters really either.
That's for another show.
It is.
But I think you got to ask yourself, what's the end game? What's the end game, Dave? And actually, you can tell me.
So here's the thing. So what happens, what we want to know is what happens after he's caught. So we're assuming that if 76 million people or 75 million people have seen this already and it continues to explode, there becomes a point where they're probably going to catch him. I mean, they found Saddam Hussein, right?
Yeah.
And they found Bin Laden, right?
Got him.
Yeah, and so eventually they can probably find Kony. I wouldn't put it past them.
I agree.
Yeah, and so what happens after that, right? That's what we want to know. Do they just move on to the next social injustice? Like, what if there's a dude down in Jamaica that's doing the same thing? Is that where we go next?
Stop.
What about Mexico?
Castro. Stop.
Let's go to Canada.
Stop.
Maple Leafs.
The Maple Leafs.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
Stop.
But is that the end? What is that? Where does it end? Or does it end? Does it end when there's no more social injustice?
But I think when there's maybe no social injustices left behind, what about the people that were left behind in all these situations?
What about the people?
What about them? I asked myself that question over the last week after seeing how passionate people are about this. What's the end game? We catch Kony. What about the countless kids that have been brought up in this culture? What about the countless soldiers? And it looks like from CNN reports it's hundreds of these soldiers.
They're still left.
Yeah,
right?
and what do we do to bring redemption to that process? I mean, we can stop that, but does that mean that we've tried to bring some healing from that perspective to a situation that's gone bad?
So are we just taking care of the symptom and not the actual problem?
I think that's an important question to ask in a situation like this. I think if I had a cold, I can suck on a cough drop and walk around town and pretend I don't have a cold. But at the end of the day, I still have a cold.
Right.
And if I don't do anything to address my cold, there's always going to be another cough. There's always going to be another sore throat because I didn't cure the issue. And so, not saying one's right or wrong or what to tell people to believe, but I think we need to ask ourselves that question as far as, are we addressing the symptom of the problem, or are we actually addressing the problem?
That's a great question. And here's the other thing. What we want to get people to understand, and our whole point is not to tell you whether to support Kony or not support this whole movement or not. But what we want to ask is, are you making an informed decision, or are you making just a purely emotional decision?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, do you just go, oh, this video is the video's moving, right? I mean, it's 29 minutes of it makes you want to cry by the time you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, the video's really well done. And so when you
should be for $1.5 million.
Well, that's a whole other issue, but we're not going to go there. But here's the thing. Is it just a purely emotional decision?
Yeah.
Or are you making an informed decision? And how does that play out into every other area of life? Not just social injustices,
right.
But what about when a friend asks you to do something you're not supposed to do? Do you make the emotional decision and go, sure, why not? Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Or do you start to actually make a well-intentioned, well-informed decision? And that's what we want to encourage you guys to do today, is to just stop for a second, take a breath. James says, be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to become angry. Sometimes we just got to slow down a minute and begin to work through this process and make some informed decisions. Hey, we're not telling you to support it or don't support it. We just want to ask you, are you making an informed decision about these very types of things?
Be informed.